Hello, everybody. This is usually the time of day where you're used to hearing the voice of the General Steve Reisner. My name is not Steve Reisner. I'm Joe Goddard standing in for today because the show must go on. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about last week's NFL, some surprising things, and then go through some picks for today and what we like on the NFL slate. You can find me at Source Podcast 11, or you can find us on the BCMG network. All right, so let's jump right in. Most surprising game of Week 7. I'm gonna go with the New York Football Giants winning 25-3 at the Carolina Panthers, who I think are a good football team. We'll talk about that later. But you're part of the Generals base here. You're all Patriots fans, just like me. 54-13 at home against the New York Jets. This is a coming out party for Mac Jones. I'm expecting him to put up points for the rest of the way. They're going to need it to hang with the Chargers today. Hit us in the comments with some of the stuff that you liked from him this week. I'll tell you what I liked. First, he was decisive in the pocket. He knew where he wanted to go with the football. Second, the game scheme really worked for him. I mean, a couple of trick plays. The first touchdown pass wasn't even him. It was Kendrick Bourne and Nelson Aguilar. But when you open up the playbook and you give the kid the reins, you're in real good shape because this kid is for real. Patriots know coming into next season, at least they have a quarterback. Across the rest of the NFL, the Falcons beat the Dolphins 30-28. So what that means for that division, the Dolphins are absolutely falling off the wagon. The Patriots could be in the hunt for the wild card. The Bengals dominated the Ravens 41-17 in a game that a lot expected to be close, with the Bengals as slight underdogs, 6-point dogs going into the game. The story here is offensive rookie of the year, Jamar Chase. There's no debating that at this point. Making people miss. I happen to be at that game, so I'm very lucky in that sense to have seen that. But really, all he does is stay on his feet, make a good catch, and get down the field in a hurry. Um, I would say the least surprising storyline of last week. Packers win 24-10. Texans get routed 31-5. And Colts win 30-18 at the 49ers. We did have a good Sunday night game or Monday night game with the Saints and Seahawks last week. And then this week, Packers at Cardinals 24-21, the Pack on Thursday Night Football in what is probably the best Thursday Night Football matchup we have seen in 3 or 4 seasons. Aaron Rodgers did not have the ball in the end. It was Kyler Murray. This one falls squarely on the shoulders of A.J. Green. Didn't turn around for the football. Darnell Savage with the interception, 12 seconds on the clock, and that is that. Looking ahead to this week, we've got some interesting matchups. We've got Bengals and Jets, line is 10 points. We've got Falcons and Panthers, line is 3 points. Dolphins and Bills, 13.5. The General has a rule about 13-point spreads. Anything over double digits, he will not take. I have no such rule. So we're going to jump right into some of these games and talk about some spreads and some picks that we like moving forward. Something to note, the Sunday Night Football game, the game that most people will probably be able to tune into, especially if you work on Sundays, is Cowboys at Vikings. And there will be no Dak Prescott unless a miracle happens. He is listed as questionable. Every intention or indication, rather, is, however, that it won't be him tonight with the starting offense. It will be Cooper Rush in that backup role against Kirk Cousins, Dalvin Cook, and those Minnesota Vikings. So it'll be interesting to see where he goes with that. But without further ado, let's jump right into some of those picks. We like the Patriots today to beat the Chargers. The line is 4. In some places 4.5. It opened at 5.5. Take the money line. Bill Belichick against the Chargers does not lose. Everyone always expects the Chargers to be better than they are. Bill Belichick has them figured out year in and year out, and the training wheels are off Mac Jones. It is time for Mac Jones to absolutely dominate a real team. It's been too long without it. It's going to be interesting. Angela, I just saw your comment. Hi. I hope you're still watching. You didn't just tune in right when I gave out that notification. Um, Not so good at managing the StreamYard yet at this point. Another thing worth watching today is Browns at Steelers. We fully expect Baker Mayfield to be a go. Nick Chubb is also a go. Still no Kareem Hunt. That'll be a tight game. It'll be a lot of fun to watch. The money line there is Browns minus 190. We lean that way. Dolphins at Bills. Bills minus 13.5. Book it. The Dolphins are not a good football team. Tua Tagovailoa is not an NFL quarterback yet, and that defense is a mess. They can't stop anybody on the ground. They can't stop anybody in the air. It is brutal. Titans at Colts. We had a play on this game a little earlier. We liked the Titans when they were +2. That line has shifted a little bit, and we are staying off that game, but it will be a great game to watch. It's a huge game for the division. We have Titans to win division tickets at minus 110 to win that division. So we are rooting for the Tennessee Titans. But Carson Wentz has finally seemed to get it together with head coach Frank Reich, and they are looking like they could be in good shape going into tonight's game. The Titans are very banged up. They're missing a starting corner, a starting offensive lineman, as well as some of those season-ending injuries that happened last week. Whereas the Colts are finally starting to get healthy. The only thing that popped up on the injury report is Jonathan Taylor. We fully expect him to be a go, even though he is listed as questionable and did not practice with a rib. Um, Across the rest of the NFL, Joe Flacco will not be starting for the Jets this week, despite that trade. They're going to go with Mr. White up against the Cincinnati Bengals and Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow will absolutely dominate that game. There is no question. Lions at Eagles at Lions. My mistake. That line is 3 points, 3.5 in some places. I don't know why anyone's taking the Lions. They shouldn't be, though. I do think that Dan Campbell will at some point become a successful NFL coach. It's not yet time. The team is very untalented or lacks a lot of talent compared to other NFL rosters. Even though Dan Campbell's style of football has won over many fans in the Detroit area, he's won me over too, frankly. Um, Going for it on 4th and 15, fake punts, all of that stuff. You can't not like it. It is football in its purest and truest. We don't care. We have nothing to lose form, and that's something we love to see. I'm getting official word on some of these plays that have been put in. So if anybody does want to take those, here are the units for some of those plays. I mentioned we like the Panthers +3 with Atlanta today. That is a 5-unit play. It's a max confidence play from us. The Bengals are now -11. That is also a max confidence play. Do we need to say more than it's the Jets? And they're not even starting Zach Wilson. Like fade the Jets. Browns are -4. We're going to take that for 3 units. Like I said, Baker's healthy. The Steelers are a mess. Big Ben, frankly, doesn't have an arm anymore. He's just a sling it to the wide receivers in space within 10 yards kind of guy now. And their offensive line has been brutal. So you can give Najee Harris 35 carries a game or 35 touches a game, and he can only do so much because defenders are getting into the backfield. Linebackers are filling the gaps really fast, and there's not much you can do about it. We're already all over the Patriots. We have 5.5 in some places. It's now at 4. Still take it at 4. If you could take the money line above 200, take that. We have 205. It's now 170 in a lot of places. I would still take that. We like that volume. And then I can't believe we're doing this. We're going to do it. We're going to back Geno Smith and the Seahawks against the Jacksonville Jaguars today at 4 o'clock in Seattle. Geno looked terrible. We're not going to sugarcoat it against the Saints, but people need to remember the Saints are a good defense. They are a top 5 defense, and they are not relying on good quarterback play to win them games now. This is not the Saints of Drew Brees and Alvin Kamara and Michael Thomas. This is now the Saints of Jameis Winston and defense. Fully expect this game to be close. I do expect them to cover the spread, but that is a 3-unit play from us just because we're not as confident in it as we are in others. Across the rest of the board, we have the Washington football team at the Broncos. I know for a fact that the general likes the Broncos in this game. We're staying off that game. I want no part of it. I do have faith in Teddy Bridgewater, but I also have faith in the Washington defense, which has not shown up yet, and in Tyler Heinicke, who I think is great. If, and this is a big if because he's been listed as questionable, and he's been kind of banged up for the last, I want to say 3 weeks, but I don't have it off the top of my head. If Terry McLaurin is not a go, then this is a huge win for the Broncos, or even if he's not 100%, because Taylor Heinicke does tend to fixate on his number one wide receiver. Giants at Chiefs. That line is 8. That's the Monday Night Football game at 8:15. We fully expect the Chiefs to win this game. I don't yet know what the line is, and we don't have a play on it. For those of you who are Brady fans, I know there are some who follow the General just out of spite. If you are a Brady fan and you're watching that Buccaneers Saints game at 4:25, that will be a really interesting go. I'm not sure yet which side of that I want to take. I like the Saints, but I don't know if I can ever bet on a Jameis Winston led team unless I have to, and Brady's just too damn good. So stay tuned for that game. There's going to be a lot of interesting things. We know Antonio Brown is out for that game, so that'll be interesting. But it is going to be a lot of fun as we move forward today to look at some of these scores. The Rams and the Texans are playing today. That's going to be a wash. 49ers at Bears. That line is 4. That is a little bit of a trap line, we think, here at the source. We're going to stay off it. But if you do have to bet it, money line minus 200 for the 49ers, book it. The Bears are terrible, and it's Matt Nagy's fault. It's just coaching, coaching, coaching. Let's get the general on that Bears coaching staff, and they'll play a little bit more like the 85 Bears and a little less like a college football team, because the way that they turn the ball over is atrocious. As we look forward to wrapping up here, I want to give you a quick standings update in the AFC East, just because that is where most of us focus our attention. The Patriots at 3-4 are only 2 games back of the Bills. Actually, 3 games back of the Bills. I take that back. The Bills are 4-2. They've scored 203 points, given up 98 points. That is an elite defense. So we are not really in the hunting for the division at this point. As far as the wild card goes, there's opportunities. There's opportunities. The main competition for the wild card will be either the Chargers in the AFC West or the Ravens/Browns in the AFC North. Both of those teams have the edge over the Pats as we sit right now. So it is an uphill battle. The Patriots, as of right now, mathematically have a 26% chance of making those playoffs and a 1.6% chance of winning it all. But with Bill, you can never count him out. So excited to see what today brings. Thank you all for joining me. Find me again at Source Podcast 11 on Twitter or at sourcepodcast.com. The General will be back soon with more videos for all of you. And we'll probably be checking in during games. So feel free to follow us, follow BCMG for more live updates on football.